Hi, honeys. Welcome back to Queen Flow. Today's episode is so good. Are you growing your follower account or your bank account? Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, you can grow your platform while you also grow your bank account. But I went to an event in New York and it really inspired me to share this episode. Like, the event was amazing. When it comes to Instagram growth and all these things like that, it was amazing. But it was really hard for me to sit in the audience, like as a business coach, and go like, what these people are asking about and what they're focused on has actually very little to do with monetizing their company. Like, yeah, sure, some of these things would be great for visibility, but visibility doesn't do anything for you if you're not already potently making money. And I've never focused on audience growth, even to this point. And having made millions of dollars, I didn't in the beginning. I don't really now. Like, now I'm aware of, my systems work, my methods work, my message works, my offer flow works, like all of these different pieces are working. So now, right, I'm like, okay, cool, let's bring visibility to grow the brand while also strengthening what monetizes the brand. But this is like not even a conversation that I was having with myself until near $4 million later. So it's really interesting to see how Instagram continues us to have us like mind warp us into believing we need to focus on things we don't need to focus on. And it's actually like why your company isn't growing faster. And it's not that those things have no place, but it's like there's a season for them to have a place. And monetizing your business is a lot more important than like increasing your visibility tenfold. And if you don't have that skill set, more people won't create it. But anyhow, I want to talk about just like some of the common things that I see. And this episode also has more around, I'm a truth teller. So I'm just really breaking down these like untruths around scaling the company. And this was recorded from my bedroom on my birthday, which was so much fun. So you're going to love this one. And then also for just a few days only, you are able to join the Secret Money membership. The Secret Money membership is my low ticket, high lux membership, returning the money faucet where you want it all the way on. So you're going to get access to all my masterclasses, all my activations, all my master courses, existing, everything new. We have my Telegram chat of all my super spicy riffs. I will always say free conversation, paid conversation, not the same thing. And you get to very much learn from me real time. I am super transparent, raw, unfiltered, all the things around what I'm navigating, what I'm shifting in the business, what is working, what is not working, things I see in the industry, what to pay attention to, what not to, ways of evolving your human, your money, your business, all the different things. So if you like learning from me, this is a great place to do it. And you actually just get to try it out because right now you get to join for 7 days free and you can cancel anytime within that 7 days. If you are listening to this episode and that opportunity has closed, just shoot me a message that says, because it may have been closed already. Not for this episode, but when this is coming out. But I know it takes you guys a little while to get through all the listens. If you hear this and you see that the 7 days free is no longer available, then shoot me a message on Instagram or send me a DM and we will get a special code to you because, you are a loyal podcast listener and y'all are my people. So that is important. Also, the price for Magnify Manifest Receive is going to be going up pretty shortly here. Magnify Manifest Receive is if you vibe on energetics and you actually want to learn how to get energetics working for you as a strategy in your business so they can support you as you're launching, as you're calling clients in, as you're getting clear on your desires, like as you're learning to let this all be easy and just actually scaling a business. Yes, of course, based on your business strategies, but also leveraging your energetics as a strategy. I always say the women who have potency here are the women who put in twice the effort and get double the result, right? And I don't mean effort like they're lazy. I just mean like because you are so potent, it increases your magnetism, it increases your precision, it increases your clarity. Like you don't go around in confusion spirals. You don't play in a waiting frequency. Like you don't do a lot of the things that a lot of people do that keeps them moving slow. Like I will continue to say, I don't know if I've said it on this show, but I've been saying it in general. It's pretty scary to me that only 12% of the internet is even making 6 figures a year. Like what is going on here? Like we need to make changes to how we approach business. And of course, obviously, if it was just going to be like you doing more, well, we would probably be further, right? Although we want to be doing the right things for your business, but also the potency that you carry and your ability to not get in your own way, right? And not tell stories and not get stuck in loops and really be able to lead with a lot of conviction, a lot of power, a lot of certainty, not because you're trying, because that's who you naturally are. That's going to move mountains for you. So if you want that, come join us inside Magnify Manifest Receive. Even better, and Magnify Manifest Receive is all focused on client attraction, breaking through upper limits, aligning to money through desire over push, and quantum leaping your income with ease, mastering your frequency. Now, for the best pricing, just come join the Secret Money membership, because when you're in the Secret Money membership, you get the best pricing on all of my premium signature offers that are not included in the membership. So you may as well come join the membership and then also get Magnify Manifest Receive at the best price, especially because you can just join the membership for free for 7 days. It's like, why wouldn't you? And then, what was I going to say? Basically, the move is join Secret Money and then come into MMR. Or if you're like, I don't want to be in the membership, come into MMR. Or you're already in the membership, girl, get your credit and come join MMR, because the price is going to be going up soon. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'm really loving, sometimes I've just got a message. I think we're going to have a double whammy this week. So make sure you listen in full, because we're going to have another episode coming out this week as well with some more hot takes. So love you. Enjoy. Hello, angels. Good morning. I never come on in the morning, but I'm very excited. And we got to have a real conversation. So first of all, it's my birthday, which is just so cool. I am turning 42 today, which is insane. This is 42. It does get to be glowy and dewy. And I have something that I really want to share with you. Hi. And I'm so happy. It's such a beautiful day. Yesterday it was raining. Oh, thank you so much. It's so nice to see you too. Okay. So I have to talk to you guys about this, because something that makes me inside is when women are not making the money that I know they're able to make that actually matches their skill set, because they're focused on the wrong things in business. So last night I went to an event. And the event itself was great. I was actually mostly there because my friends were filming and photographing the event. And the event was essentially oriented towards Instagram growth, which, as you guys know, is something I actually don't really care about that much. I've never focused on how do I grow my Instagram? I'm how do I scale a company? My growth is going to come naturally through the ways that I desire to create visibility, through the potency of my content, through my thought leadership, all the different things. But I've never been how do I grow my Instagram ever? Even from day one. And something that catches me, even in sometimes the questions I receive, et cetera, is I was wow, a lot of people are not having the results they desire to create simply by focusing on the wrong thing. So obviously, where we put our attention in business really matters, right? And so when we waste times on things that don't actually grow the company, we're going to waste time, right? Growing the company. And so it's there's a difference. Let's just dive into this social media versus business intelligence conversation, because I just want to bring some additional context to it. So first of all, you don't need to be good at social media in order to be good at making money. So I understood marketing and sales, right, when I started my company, and of course still do. I didn't really know that much about I hadn't studied social media. I still don't, right? Yeah. Am I creative? Am I willing to share my voice? Do I know the potency of brand? Do I know the potency of content sales, all these different things? Yes. But those are the things that I mastered, not how do I get more followers on Instagram, because those things are going to come with me everywhere across all platforms. Even if Instagram's gone tomorrow, it's really important that you just know how to make money, period, right? And so people think oh, if I have a big following, that's necessarily going to mean that I make a lot of money, and it won't. So I've met people who have literally 200,000 followers, not having 6 figures a year. I was having 100K months with 2,500 on Instagram and an email list of less than 1,000. I've had a mentor who, was scaled to multi 7 figures a year with less than 10,000. I'm where are people getting this idea that it's because people have internalized associating big social media following with clout. And you just learn this from celebrity, where it's okay, that clout must mean money, because in the world of Hollywood, I see like big followings a lot of times going with big money. However, that's not always even true. Look at like during the LA fires, and what are their names? Spencer and Heidi from that reality TV show a million years ago. And very sadly, their house burned, and they were like, wow, we can't do this again. Like all our money was in that house, and they don't have any money. But we have huge Instagram following. We have huge social media followings. Like this doesn't make any, I mean, it makes sense. Like, and they're very honest about that and recreating. And that's like actually very noble to show people, because people are so disillusioned by Hollywood that they assume that like certain like vanity metrics mean something about actually making money, and they really don't. So that it's like is really challenging for me to see people dedicate so much time just to how do I grow on Instagram, because you're not actually focused on how do I monetize a company. And if you aren't monetizing your company, like what are you doing? Like it makes no sense. Why do you even have a company you're not monetizing? I've never, ever, ever believed that it took like some enormous amount of time adding value, giving value, blah, blah, blah for 100 years in order to make money. Like I just never operated by that assumption. I don't teach that. I don't have my clients doing that, because your biggest issue won't be like, have I given enough value? Like when will enough be enough? Right? It's sort of like, it's the same energy as waiting. If the energy is always like one day when I've created X, then I can do this. Like when is one day coming? How are you going to assess when one day is here? Like it's an avoidance strategy. It is an avoidance strategy, and it's sabotage. Like you actually get to monetize your company today. There was not for a day from when I started my company that the company was not making money, right? Because I was focused on the right things, and it wasn't like, how do I get bigger on Instagram? I still don't really care. I still don't care, because I've seen enough evidence of growth on Instagram not equaling money, but instead building your business intelligence and your skill set for actually making money being what grows your company. And it's like, even take this example. Like I've been having fun, living life. I've been off social media for like a few days straight. I had a $15K cash day over the weekend and $30,000 in sales in the past 48 hours. Not because I'm sitting here on Instagram all day long, right? The company is functioning in other ways outside of just what am I doing on Instagram. And even right now, I'm not even doing paid ads yet. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's so many other things that I'm focused on that actually bring money into the business besides just Instagram. Because you don't want to have an Instagram company, because then your company belongs to somebody else. Your company belongs to another platform called Instagram instead of your company belonging to you, right? So you want to get good at the things that, of course, make you quote unquote, captivating on Instagram. But that's like potency of your presence. That's captivating content. That's how your brand is delivered visually through words, all these different things. That's your message. But those things are also important, let's say on a podcast. Those things are also important in email. Those things are also important in people desiring to stay in your world once they're already in. Like those things are important in attracting high ticket clients, low ticket clients, like all these different things that we need to be thinking about instead, like depending on the type of company you have, instead of it just being like, well, how do I grow on Instagram? And even, okay, let's say that's not your thing that you're overly concerned with. It's like, I just hear the craziest stuff. And I'm like, where do people learn this? And it's frustrating, because I also see the stats that are like, okay, only 12% of women online are even making six figures. And I'm like, this is horrible. But also this makes sense because of where I see people put their time. Of course, once they come to me, we reshift people in the directions that are actually going to grow their company. But most of the time, and not because these aren't intelligent people, it's because like they're just not focused. We're not naturally trained to focus on business intelligence and how to be basically good at making money. You're naturally trained to be a follower, right? I've said this so many times. That's what school does to you. That's what media does to you. That's just what society does to you, is like manipulate you to get on the train, right? Of like, and then there's just a few people who are benefiting from this, but like you're trained to be a follower, you're not trained to lead yourself. So since people aren't trained to lead themselves, since people aren't trained to make money, except for like, well, you can like work for me and like do this thing and like I'll tell you how much money you can make, right? People aren't trained to be entrepreneurs. They're not trained to think in innovative ways. They're not trained to monetize. They're just trained to do steps and follow along, right? Like that's where all this comes from and like the disempowerment comes from. But then also that follower energy just follows people around even when they're in motion scaling their company. So it's like the spiritual community is obsessed with the spiritual, what are you saying? Because those consulting calls sometimes feel draining and I don't see myself hiring someone to do that either. I don't know what you're referring to. Hi, Raquel. I think, oh, thank you. Happy birthday. For my birthday. I think maybe you mean sales calls. I did sales calls and so of course, guys, this is going to be dependent on the business model you have. Like I was doing high ticket sales pretty early. And of course, usually that's taught with sales calls. I did sales calls for like the first 6 months of my company. And then I was like, I don't want to do this. And oh, there's a question above. I don't see a question. Sorry. Instagram comments is kind of weird. Anyways, you can drop it again. But what I'll say about sales calls, I did them for 6 months. And then I was like, I don't like this. I don't need to do this. 90% of these people close anyways. Like, why am I spending time on this? So I stopped and nothing happened. I was having 30K months. I kept having 30K months. There was no income dip. Like, you don't need to do things you don't want to do, but you need to be good at the things that make it so you don't have to do the things that you don't want to do. Right. But also something that just like drives me crazy about, I attract people who are, very, I would say either like spiritually oriented or, have some level of belief in something that is like outside of us. Right. And so unfortunately, what that has also meant is a lot of like deep programming from the spiritual community, which is just honestly like, yes, I'm that way and I'm very intuitively driven in all of these things. But unfortunately, like every single community on the planet, there's just things that taint it, right? It's sort of like in political parties, there's things that taint it. There's nothing that is perfect. There's nothing that is pure. Like there's in every religion, there's aspects that have tainted it, right? Like this is just part of being on the planet Earth. But people think because they're in the space of self-development and learning about spirituality on the internet and that none of that is going to be tainted or have any limitation. And so something that has been enormously detrimental when it comes to women making money, and this is my perspective, you can carry a different perspective, but this deep tie between like connecting like self-worth to our prices. I'm like, why is everybody going, where did this Kool-Aid, like when did we start drinking this Kool-Aid? This is something I never did, nor do you want to tie your personal value to money ever, 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 ever. You will have a horrible time scaling your company if you have your personal value tied up with money. And so this is the same thing when people are like, well, I want to like charge in my worth. I'm like, what does that mean? Do you think that Steve Jobs was sitting around being like, we need to make sure that like this Apple iPhone is priced according to my personal value? Like, guys, this is not how the real world works. And like, you're a little too hypnotized. You're a little too hypnotized. Your ability to command money is literally going to come down to, yes, your personal power and your conviction in yourself, your capability as a sales and marketing expert, right? And it's not about like 100 years in the game. It's about your ability to move people, right? And then your genuine expertise in what you're doing. So like, I didn't just pick up my phone and start talking about sales and marketing. I had 15 years of sales and marketing experience before this company, right? And then of course, all the things we learn along the way, all the ways that I've grown. Yes, I turn like other, where I've created mastery in terms of money into business and business into offers, right? But it's like when I came on the internet, I also was very like in my power about what I was selling and promoting. I didn't just like pull something random out of the sky and go, this is my area of expertise. And so, yes, you could argue what I do is a bit of an extension on the career path I had, but also not really. Like I worked in finance. I worked for BlackRock, which is like a huge asset management firm. I worked in the interior design industry. I worked for some startups, right? But the thing is, they were not doing what I do. It was more that like I built the skill set through being around a company that is commanding trillions and managing trillions of dollars a year. And like, how do those sales and marketing teams function? All the way down to companies that were definitely more of like a startup environment and like, how do they function? I just got to see a lot of different ways of like growing a company, what works, what doesn't, who's making money, why the people who aren't really making money, why the people who like are always flying ahead, why the people who run the same potholes over and over again, why, right? So like this was also very important. This is why I've been able to continue to scale up my company, and my journey also hasn't been like up, down, all over the place, round and round and round, right? Without direction. However, my prices, I have never thought about from a place of like my personal value. It's like, you need to just know where you sit in the market. So for example, chances are if a mentor who's making $1 million a month is charging $10K a month for her mastermind, and you're making $200K a year and you're a business coach, it is not going to make sense for you to charge $10K a month for your mastermind. Like, it just doesn't make sense for where you sit in the market. And at the same time, like, for example, I've always been, you know, you could put me on the high end part of the market, although I have price points for, you know, there's everything from $33 to $50K. But at the same time, I came in with the expertise. I have results for the clients. I had the results for myself. Like, this was all backed in something, right? So it's very easy to charge the prices that you feel like you can like very easily back up. And I'm not saying that I'm always looking like who's ahead of me and like, let's make sure I charge less than them. Like, I don't do that at all. But I'm saying there's a general awareness of where I sit in the market. And then also there's just different business models. So for example, there are people who want to be predominantly high ticket and they aren't focused on volume. They're not focused on necessarily being known at a big scale, big brand, et cetera, et cetera. Like, they're just focused on how do I make money with the least amount of offers, right? And even that's what I was doing earlier in my business. It was like the business needed to support my life. We got to make money. Again, this is like based on what I do as a coach. You guys are going to have different kinds of businesses. All business advice is not blanket advice. This is the power of actually having mentorship. However, there are people who are like, hey, I want to be known on like a massive scale, you know, thousands and thousands, maybe 1 million people. I'm not necessarily just looking to be like, hey, well, like, how can I make 25K tomorrow from one person, from 2 people? I want to scale high volume, right? So scaling high volume is normally going to be scaling a lot of lower ticket, either in full or on the front end. Right? And there's so many ways to make money. They all work, but that's not a self-value conversation. That's literally like a what kind of business do you want to have conversation. And so when you approach pricing as an example from a place of like self-value, like you're just always insecure. All that showcases how insecure you are, because if you're secure and you're thinking about like business is business, you're just like, what makes sense? What makes sense for my brand? Right? Is this something where it's like, so for example, my closest proximity mastermind is only intended for 5 to 8 people. That is priced accordingly because of the level of access that they get to me, what I've created, what my clients have created, the potency of my brand, right? And like tried and true, time tested, results proven over years. I have watched women come into this mastermind, double, triple, quadruple their monthly income over and over and over again, right? There's also qualifications to it though. So it's like, you need to already be having 10K months. You need to already know how to run group programs, right? So I'm going to put people also in the right place. That is priced accordingly because there are going to be no more than 5 to 8 people. That is a very close proximity access to me. That makes sense, right? And for what I've created, I've helped other people create, et cetera, et cetera. And I have spaces that aren't about that at all. And they don't have that price point because they're not also essentially like private coaching in a mastermind environment. But it has nothing to do with my personal view of myself or my self-worth. It's just what makes sense, right? If I was making triple the income that I make right now, it would be very normal that my mastermind would cost more. And some people actually need to lower their prices if they want to start making more money. So for example, I've seen people come to me and I'm like, why are you at 10K months trying to charge for your mastermind what I charge? Of course it's not filling, right? Your clientele is all over the internet seeing people with multiple 7-figure businesses, and this is what their mastermind costs to learn how to grow a company. You're at 10K months wanting to charge like someone who's literally 10 times ahead of you. Like, meet yourself where you're at and you'll make more money. Right? So I actually remember one of the best stories is like one of my first mentors. I was doing like my first group program. I think before my first group program, I had my first 17K month, and I was creating the first group program, but it was like rich. This wasn't just like it was like lots of hot seat coaching, like healing calls, content, all these different things. It was a truly immersive experience. I would say it was a bit similar to sort of like how I have the Revolution now. And I wanted to charge $5K for 3 months. And she was like, why don't you charge less and just get it full? And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I wasn't like, oh my God, but I'm worth more. I'm like, she's not giving this mentorship to me from a place of self-value. She's just telling me a smart business thing to do, which is like, hey, you haven't sold this before. Why don't you sell it the out, get 1 million people, start getting the testimonials. You know that selling something for 3 months at $3,500 with what this is will be a no-brainer for you. Make it a no-brainer for you. So what happens? I immediately left from my 17K month that I had before that group immersion to consistent 30K months, the first one being the first 6 months of my company. And of course it was what I was doing, but I just took her advice. I was like, oh yeah, let's just make this a layup. For me, that's what a layup felt like. A layup for you might feel different. But like I had a lot of experience underneath me for that layup to feel, for that number to feel like a layup. And a lot of conviction in what I was doing. So we can't charge high prices with low conviction around what we're doing. You know what I mean? Everything needs to be congruent. Everything needs to be add up. And then we also don't need to feel bad about that. It's like, well, let me build the conviction. Let me build the power. Let me build the potency of my content. Let me build the potency of my brand. Let me actually know how to package and sell offers that people want to buy. They're not just going to like pay for whatever. And I just like very much dislike this delusion that people have picked up from the spiritual community around pricing. It just doesn't make sense. I like when I got on the internet, I was charging like $100 an hour. And then I was like, oh, okay. Like I see how this doesn't really make sense. Let's make this $1,000 a month. Then because I was like, why? I don't like people coming and going. This is making me tired. And also there were a lot of people hiring me, you know, but I wasn't like, I just did that for a minute. And then I was like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Right. And I changed it really quickly. And then it was like, oh, it's $3,000. So it's like $3,000 for 3 months. And like, obviously this number has gone up exponentially over time. But I just started. It's like people say they're here to serve, but then they're just busy spending all their time being self-absorbed, worrying about self-worth and prices. I'm like, what? No, focus on growing your company. Hey, gorgeous. I hope you're enjoying today's episode. This is your reminder that for a very limited time, you're able to join the Secret Money membership for 7 days free, where you can cancel anytime within that 7 days. This is going to support you in the energetics, the feminine strategies, the human psyche evolution, all of the important areas for scaling your company. You get access to all of my masterclasses, my activations, my master courses, everything that's existing and new. We have our quarterly hot seat coaching calls. Like those are so fun. They are literally my favorite. I'm known to be doing some bonus calls too. So the sisterhood's obviously amazing. I attract like the best women who are just multidimensional, here to do things differently. And if you decide to stay with us, you can stay for less than $2 a day. It's just, if you like learning from me, this is a space to join. And the best thing is you can check it out free for 7 days. If that opportunity is closed by the time that you hear this, send me a message on Instagram and I'll see what we can do for you since you're part of my podcast community. Also, a reminder that the price for Magnify Manifest Receive, the wealth energetics activation to fuel rapid client attraction, increase your ability to receive money through desire over push, and blast your upper income limits, the price of that is going to be going up soon. Like I mentioned earlier, you can just join Secret Money, also get the credit for Magnify Manifest Receive, because when you're in Secret Money, you're going to get the best prices for everything else in my world as well. So that's the move to make. The links are in episode notes. Of course, you can also just join us inside the Revolution, and that's going to be for you if you desire more of a mastermind experience. We have twice monthly hot seat coaching calls. You get my full product suite. We have Revolution exclusive masterminds. It's a high touch space. It's amazing. So if you're wanting more regular mentorship, come inside the Revolution. You'll also get Secret Money. And then also we do have 3 spaces available in my highest proximity mastermind, Fempire. So if you're not sure where you want to start, like a lot of people start in Secret Money to check things out. But if you're not sure where you want to start, then just shoot me a DM. And then I got women who just go all in. They're like, I know what I want. Let's go. I have no time to waste, and come straight into the Revolution or straight into Fempire. But you can just shoot me a message on Instagram and I'm happy to help you and sort out where it's going to be best for you to go. So anyhow, she gave me that advice. I grew really quickly, and like that was that. And it's like, I just didn't make it about me. I was like, she's just trying to help me grow my company fast. I told a client yesterday to lower prices on something that she was doing. I was like, I do not think that is a good idea right now. You're going to have to spend all your time trying to, and not because she can't carry that price, but because of what else I know is going on in her company. And her audience is not used to high ticket prices yet. So I'm like, you don't want to have to spend a million years just selling out like 2 spaces for this thing. Just get it sold out, get the results, do the thing, raise the prices over time. Because guess what, guys? Here's another thing. Very easy to raise prices, very challenging to lower them. So you better start with shit that you can really hold, that you're sure about, and not do this whole like, oh my God, but like, I know I'm valuable. If you're having to go, oh my God, I know I'm valuable, you don't actually think so anyway. And you know what's going to build that confidence is actually making money, actually having clients, and actually getting to points of capacity where you're just like, yeah, I'm done. Like this, we're charging more, the ends. We are charging more, the ends. And then when you charge more, it's going to be obvious. There are totally times I've raised my price. I'm like, I'm done with this at this price point. And it's like the end. And then there's things in my company that are not premium prices, not even close, and they're not meant to be. But this isn't poor self-worth. This is literally like business strategy. So it's like it just continues to drive me crazy how spiritual women are just so it's like limiting beliefs. I'm like, guys, I'm not thinking about my limiting beliefs, right? I'm looking at like, what is sticky energetically? Okay, cool. Like, where am I telling stories? Like things like that. You could call a story a limiting belief, but I'm not thinking, but here's the thing. So I will look at like, is there a story here? Because we're going to tell stories and those stories don't serve us. We need to stop telling stories. But the way most people engage with limiting belief work is like, okay, it's like pull out the journal. I want to make more money. What are the 14 reasons why I believe making money is hard? I'm like, guys, there is no one making a lot of money who's doing this. No one. We're at zero. We're at zero. This is stuff that just keeps like people not making money going round, or not make as much money as they desire to make, going round and round and round and round in circles, thinking that like you need to journal through every single limiting belief you have. Like just become a higher frequency human. Just become a higher frequency human. You won't have this problem. And what comes up, you'll be able to be like, oh, that's interesting, right? Move with more conviction, move with more power, make better decisions. Also at this event, I saw how many people clearly don't have a business coach. I'm like, are you insane? You're on the internet thinking you want to make millions of dollars. You don't have a mentor. You think you're just going to wing it and figure it out in the most saturated time to be on the internet possible in a skeptical market. And also no one is doing this. And the very, very few people I've seen make millions of dollars without mentorship are just turned into a business, very much what they were doing before, with an enormous amount. And I know literally two, one, two, that's it. With an enormous amount of already built knowledge, intelligence, and all with insane corporate backgrounds and all of this different stuff. And they knew exactly what they were doing. This is not 99.9% of people. And it's wild to me that people think they're just going to like wing it and make money consistently, grow consistently. That's going to be the easiest path. And I'm like, I just don't understand why it's like the world is not setting people up for success. And then we believe what the world tells us. And it's like, we just have to, and including the world's on the internet sometimes. And you don't have to believe everything I say, but I'm just speaking to you from what I see. And like, it is absolutely the truth. And so it's like, are you focused on the right things? So growing the right things is not how do you go viral. It's like, can you tell me that you know how to genuinely monetize your company to 7 figures? And you could do that with or without Instagram, because you don't own Instagram. So what are you going to do if Instagram's not here, right? There is a time where people need to build their businesses, but people are using Periscope or they're using other things, right? So it's like Instagram, for example, is one marketing tool that we have. But for example, in that, I think it was like $25,000, right, that I made over the weekend, it wasn't from Instagram. And I love Instagram. Here I am. But I'm like, this is a marketing tool. Instagram's not a business plan. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's also really important when you're learning from people that you understand the context that you're learning them from. So for example, in the event that I was at yesterday, This person was Instagram growth expert. So if you ask them, they are literally making money teaching Instagram growth. That makes sense. So if you ask an Instagram growth expert, how do I grow? They're going to give you answers that are oriented around growing social media. That doesn't necessarily mean you'll make more money, right? It's just the general philosophy is like, well, hopefully if there's more people, you make more money. I have seen that not be true a bazillion times over, right? And lots of people gain more visibility while they're making money and because they become good at making money. If you ask, right, like if you go ask someone in real estate, how do I make more money? They're going to teach you, how do I make more? Well, oh, you like do it through real estate, right? So you guys need to check who you're asking the questions to. And you can ask a variety of people for a variety of different perspectives. So it was challenging for me in that situation. I was like, who the cares about the number of followers? Like, show me your bottom line. Like, do you know how to make money? Like, would you just spend all your time trying to figure out how to grow your followers? Like I said, like I had grown a 7-figure company with like 3,000 people on Instagram. Right? I still have less than 10. Had a mentor who was having multiple 7-figure months with less than 10,000. Have seen 200,000 followers, don't know how to make 6 figures. Like actually frequently have had many clients with triple my audience size making less money because I know it's not about that, right? It's always going to come about. It's always going to be about, right? Like the potency of your offer creation, creating offers and position in the way that people want to pay for, how iconic your content is. And I don't mean like how fancy it is, but I mean like the degree to which it moves people and like captivates attention, right? Your sales strategies and like, do they work? Is it not? And we're going beyond just like, I show up on Instagram and hope this works. You know what I'm saying? Like front of house, behind the scenes. And like, does it require you to be on social media all day long? Or like, are you making money otherwise anyway? You know what I mean? And then of course, your relationship to money, your personal power, all of those different things. But just the thing that drives me crazy is people are focused on the wrong things. And it's like, for example, I don't know, let's say you reach out to someone to collaborate. They said no. Why the do you care? Why would you care? It's like, that's not going to be the bulk of your business anyway. The bulk of your business is going to be what you create through building your own brands, right? And of course, like we partner with other people, we have visibility. So for example, like I love podcasting. I've been on a number of very large shows. Like it made sense for me to put some attention there. It's not because I'm trying to grow the number of Instagram followers I have, right? It's about connecting in with the right audiences that would be good for my work. So there's even shows, as an example of not chasing numbers, but thinking about the right things. There have been shows where, sure, they have like lots of downloads, like all the different things, but I can tell, but their audience isn't going to be at all like spiritually or energetically based. And like, they're just like very 3D people who still think, you know, it's 1, 2, 3, make money and don't understand the multidimensionality of it. And I'm like, that's not going to be my people. Like, they're not going to get it. I'm not trying to get people to understand me, right? I'm just like, I'm here for the people who already get it, hear me, they're activated into something. They're like, oh, okay, like I want to learn from her. I'm not going to, for example, teach someone why their energy matters. Like there's so many other people who can teach that. I have no desire to teach that. It's like, well, it should be obvious because look at what's going on in your life. Your energy is impacting everything. It's impacting what you attract. It's impacting the choices you make. It's impacting how other people perceive you. Like it is your greatest currency, truly, right? It impacts your ability to be discerning around what you believe to be true on the internet. Like, do you need to chase Instagram followers or you just want to learn how to make money in your company and have it naturally grow through your potency, right? I'm not going to be in the grave with my biggest feat in life being like, I knew how to like create more followers on Instagram. Like, is that even really like serving your purpose? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I've just seen no correlation to the amount of money being tied to social media following. Keep in mind, I'm not building a business that gets paid for views or like things like that. So again, the context is always going to be what kind of business that you have. But even if you are building a company where you want to ultimately be paid for views, you want the brand partnerships, like all of these different things, how does it serve you to not be learning how to monetize right now? It doesn't. There's no world where you're getting better at business while you don't monetize it. Like this isn't even real. So I want you to not look for so everything that you are doing in your company, it's like realistically, can you show me clearly how that drives the bottom line? Not one day, not a million years from now, today. Because if you're not making decisions that drive the bottom line today, your company's never going to grow because it's always today. And of course we make future-oriented decisions, but like the way most people interact with future-oriented is like stuff that maybe will add up. It's like the connection between what they're doing and money is a stretch. Like, if I have more Instagram followers, I will definitely make more money. Prove it. How? If you're not monetizing what you're doing today, what's your plan? Like, this doesn't make any sense, right? You need information. Like, what do people actually like buying from you? What are they buying from you? How are we scaling what's actually working? Have you built your skill set for monetizing? How are we going to have a company for not building a skill set for monetizing company? So can you show yourself that everything you are doing is actually adding up? Because I'm telling you for sure, me having 30K weekends and things like that is not because of chasing maybes. It is not because of chasing maybes. It's because of the potency of my energy and knowing what I'm doing in the company in terms of like how to make money and having that feel easy and light so that I can sustain it. And I will always say, it's like I've always been the person who gets double the result with half the time. Half the effort, half the time. Because I just focus on the right things so that this can be chill instead of wasting time like worrying about self-worth and prices. Like, I'm just like, where do I sit in the market? What is easy for me to hold? And like, okay, cool. Some things I want to be a no-brainer. Other things I'm like, no, this is super premium. It is what it is. Prices can always go up. Like, if you were the CEO of a company, would you be thinking about the decisions that you're making in your company the way you're thinking about them today? And if the answer is no, something needs to change. Because at the end of the day, regardless of all this personal development, regardless of all of this stuff, you're building a company. And so if you're not actually building that company because you were distracted and quote unquote calling it personal development, but you're not actually building your company, then you're not doing what you set out to do. And so we just really need to be self-honest on this topic. I would really like to see a lot more people making a lot more money by actually just focusing on what actually scales your business and not getting sidetracked by what you think scales it, by what you think a lot of these influencers are making with who are not. I've literally met someone recently, 1 million followers, 1 million, not making money in her company. How? And like, give me 1 million followers, I'll be Oprah, Jesus. So anyhow, that's what I wanted to share with you today. Also, if you are genuinely serious about scaling your company, you want to do it in a multidimensional way and be supported, come join us inside the Revolution. The Revolution is my membership mastermind for scaling relaxed millions, obviously the feminine way. You have access to the full program suite. So that's going to be all the feminine strategies, all the elite wealth energetics, all the personal power things. So we do not have time to be wobbling. Biggest waste of time having behind the scenes is insecurity and wobbling, fucking up your money all day long, truly. Plus, then we need to be able to scale our offers, scale our content, scale our strategies, and just have everything moving. It's Aries season. Like, let's be moving and stop going around circles. Circles aren't moving. We want to be moving. So come join us inside the Revolution. If you are in Enchanted Sales, you are in Magnify Manifest Receive, you've purchased from me in the past 30 days, then you have credits. You can DM me for those credits. Magnify Manifest Receive is live now. I'm having so much fun in this space. So this is going to be a wealth energetics. It's teaching you how to leverage energetics as a strategy so you aren't getting all these like crazy mind loops, going down roads that lead to nowhere, and like all of these different things that you've like talked yourself into that aren't actually coming from the truth of your soul, that aren't actually coming from an abundant place, but like right now you don't see it. So you end up in the loop again. You're like, how did I get here? When you have potent energetics, this stops being a problem because your mind is no longer manipulated by random shit. You are no longer under the control of like beliefs, energies, systems, ways of thinking, being, doing that don't even belong to you. So of course they're not serving you. Like, you're free. When you're actually free, you make good choices. When your mind is hijacked, right? When your system is hijacked by you still holding on to things that aren't true, that you think are true, that you just picked up from the internet randomly, you don't make good choices. Or that you just picked up from the world and like you make it yours, you don't make good choices. You make good choices when you're genuinely tapped into your soul truth. Not the truth that you think you have, but like it's real. It's real. And trust me, a lot of the choices most people are making are not actually coming from a place of their truth. They have no idea. And this is why they keep getting the results that they're getting. Right? They come from insecurity. They come from lack of power. They come from codependence. They come from people pleasing. They come from what is everybody going to think of me. They come from disempowered places. You can't make a lot of money from a disempowered place. It's literally it will never happen. Never, ever, ever. So we just want to accept that as true and be like unavailable for that life. Do you really have time Do you really have time to spend your life being disempowered, unwinding limiting beliefs? Is that what don't you want to look back and be like, thrilling? I made shit tons of money. I had so much fun. I helped all these people. I did exactly what I set out to do. I didn't get sidetracked when the internet told me to get sidetracked. When they went left, I went right. Like, I didn't join this weird cult where I'm just like upholding the leader and like she's the holy one. I actually like grew in my power. And sometimes maybe you had that experience and that's what you need to go through your power. But you know what I'm saying? Like, don't you want the legacy? Don't you want the bigness? Like, don't you want to I hate to be crass, but on your deathbed be like, fuck yes, I experienced it all. Instead of like, oh, I spent my life disempowered doing limiting belief work. Come on. You get like one shot at this, guys. I mean, I do believe in reincarnation, but like, you don't know. You might come back as my little puppy Brooklyn. Hi. We don't know what it's going to look like. Now she's like, I want to be seen. I can't tell if you guys can see because it's so sunny in here. I can't see anything. Okay. Anyway, come join us inside the revolution. If you've been in a Magnify Manifest Receive ever, not just this round, you're inside Enchanted Sales or any bundle that includes Enchanted Sales, you are in the Secret Money membership. Today is the last day that you have additional credits from inside the Secret Money membership to join the revolution. Send me a message and come join us, and please stop wasting your time. And I love you so much. Just come in. There's an episode up today about my client Janata White and her journey from 10K months to back-to-back 50 to 60K months inside the revolution on Queen Flow. That's also on YouTube. And then Magnify Manifest Receive. Oh, I got sidetracked ranting about energetics. Okay, so Magnify Manifest Receive teaches you the wealth energetics of rapid client of attraction, of blasting through upper limits, and of tapping into money through desire over push, all through the lens of business. So you're essentially learning how to leverage wealth energetics as a strategy in your business. One of my favorite things to do, because this is how we tap into ease. So you can just head to my link in bio or to my site, jocelynkelleyreid.com. You're still able to join MMR at over 30% off. 60, sorry, with your first payment of $139. And also, if you're just like, okay, Jocelyn, I just want to have a taste, join us inside the Secret Money membership, which is barely just a taste. It's like a huge, yummy, delicious mouthful. And the Secret Money membership is only $55 a month. You have access to all my master classes, all of my like master courses. We have a quarterly hot seat coaching call. I'm regular in plugging in with riffs and trainings and things I'm seeing and behind the scenes and all the different things. So you will love that as well. But I am popping off. Send me a DM if you have any questions, and love you. She was a spicy one. I just, I'm coming in hot these days. I'm just like, there's just these certain levels of truth that have downloaded for me recently in ways that, I don't know, they just hadn't before. And it's like, I feel sick when I don't share it. So I'm like, okay, well, we just got to tell the people the truth. So this is what we're doing. If you'd like to join us inside the revolution is going to be my membership mastermind for scaling relaxed millions, the feminine way, all the feminine strategies, the content that sets you apart as a thought leader, not someone who's just, maybe going viral on Instagram, but someone who can like stand the test of time, is known, well paid. The sales systems that are going to actually support you for how you desire to scale your company. The elite wealth energetics is obviously you want to be solid as with money. The human psyche evolution, so you can be that potent human who is actually who can actually scale to millions. The revolution is going to be for you no matter whether you're scaling, anytime. And if you're scaling anywhere between 10K and 100K months, then I am able to support you inside that space. As mentioned, if you want a even higher level of touch, then message me about joining Fempire. Fempire is going to be for you if you've already hit 10K months at least, and you have commands as well over group spaces. Like that's going to be the precondition for coming into Fempire. And then of course, right now, you're still able to join the Secret Money membership for 7 days completely free on the house. Like, make your move while you're able to. Like I said before, if you've listened to the podcast and that opportunity is closed, shoot me a message on Instagram, or you can email my team at assistant@jocelynkellyreid.com. But I'd prefer you just message me on Instagram because it's actually easier and faster to get back to you that way. Just DM me the word secret. And then we can help you out with that. So I love you so much. Get in the room, y'all. It's real juicy and spicy in my spaces. If you have any questions at all, shoot me a message on Instagram or just send an email to assistant@jocelynkellyreid.com, and we will get you in the right place. And stay tuned because we've got another episode coming this week.